Imagine standing alone in the dense forest of northern Maine. The sun's gone down, the sky's turning black, and all you can hear in the distance is the snap of a branch, and then just silence. And in that moment, you see it. A creature taller than your car, antlers as wide as your garage door, its coat pure white, glowing faintly in the moonlight. And then suddenly, as it appears, it's gone. No sound, no trail, no explanations. The locals call it the Specter Moose, and tonight we're diving headfirst into one of New England's weirdest cryptid legends. I'm Sean.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Weirder After Dark. Are there any animals out there that scare either of you? Like terrify you? Like you won't go near them? Like you're just like, that's going to fuck me up. I don't want to touch that.
I'm not afraid that it's going to fuck me up, but I really, really don't like spiders.
Okay. All right.
Like, I'm terrified of spiders.
Like, how do you get rid of them? So there's a spider on the wall right now. You just like, oh my God, are you freaking out? Just straight panic?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I ask someone to help me.
Okay.
Or I don't go back in that room until Chris gets home.
All right. Chris, so you've cleaned up many spiders for Kathy. This is what I'm taking away.
2 a.m.
That was a lizard.
In the bathroom. I think I saw a spider. Nobody's going to bed until you find that spider I think I saw.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All right. Spiders. Not saying that's kind of basic, but
I know. But I don't think that there's really an animal that I'm afraid of.
All right, Chris.
Wolves are fucking terrifying.
We saw wolves.
I've seen them, yeah, but if I saw one out in the woods alone, I'd be scared.
Yeah, I'd be pretty scared too.
I want to say sharks, but I've been scuba diving or snorkeling with sharks and it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, not a great white though, right?
No, nothing that big.
No.
Sand sharks, nurse sharks, hammerhead.
Hammerhead?
Yeah.
That's a big shark.
Sharks are good though, because like you're in their home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we don't belong there.
Yeah. It's like they're gonna fuck you up if they choose to.
But where else are you gonna see an animal that you'd be afraid of? If you go to a zoo.
I mean, I got one.
What?
I'm fucking terrified of geese. Those things are straight killers, man. I challenge anyone right now that thinks this is fucking funny to go ahead and Google an image of a goose's mouth. They got teeth on their fucking tongues, which is some demonic shit, first off. And then second, some of them got those like weird colored eyes that they're like looking at you. You ever walk by a goose?
Yeah.
You ever walk by one?
Yeah.
What do?
They turn and look at you.
Yeah, and then what? They hiss.
They hiss and they
hiss at you. They hiss. They got teeth on their tongues. They're fucking devil shit.
I've been chased by a group of geese when I was little.
Yeah.
Like little. I went with my mom to go feed the ducks and I had some bag of bread and I was like all cute with pigtails and I thought it was adorable to feed it, but they got pissed and I dropped the bag of bread and I was running and their wingspans are huge.
They'll fuck you up.
And they were like chasing me, like flapping their wings and I was crying.
Trying to suck your soul.
That's it.
It was scary.
If they really wanted to get you though, they cruise missile at people. Have you ever seen videos? Okay, I'd kick a fucking goose. I love animals. I would kick a fucking goose if it cruise missiles at me.
I would kick any animal that came after me.
Yeah.
That was trying to like hurt me.
Yeah. A little set up here today is because I'm going to be sharing a story about a creature that, in my opinion, is more terrifying than any of the ghost stories that we've shared on this podcast. And it's a story about a moose.
The intro, I'm like, I've never heard this.
Yeah.
This sounds like it could be real, and I'm a little nervous.
Well, I say, let's set the whole ghost thing aside for a second, and let's just like unpack moose in general real quick before we actually dive into his story, because I think moose, personally, are scary as fuck. Some people call them forest cows, and to that I say, fuck that. They're not forest cows, because if you've ever seen one of those videos on YouTube of them running through snow or inside of a river at like 35 fucking miles an hour, that's fact check, 35 miles an hour.
Don't check my facts.
Okay.
But I think more people have been killed by moose than bear.
I believe it. I believe it hands down. And the reason it is because when you're watching those videos in water, running 25 to 35 miles an hour, think of their hooves. They're hitting rocks. They're hitting this crazy terrain, and they're able to maintain that speed. And to me, I'm just like, that's some gnarly fucking shit. I honestly don't think moose can feel pain when I watch those videos. Like, they're numb, like some full-on Hawthorne Heights shit. I don't know if you know that reference, but they're the people that do so cut my wrist and black my eyes. like they're on that that shit. And if it's not emotionally numb, that moose are, if that's not what it is, I think they've got like an oxy hookup from a local dealer because they have no regard for their bodies. And I don't know, I didn't fact check that, but
we got a bunch of methed out moose.
Yeah, something.
Is it like cocaine bear?
Yes, exactly. So my first lesson for tonight's podcast is let it be known that if a moose is charging at you, you're not going to outrun it. It's about to take 15 years of repressed teenage angst out on your ribcage. So let's all agree right now, do not become target because they're fucking terrifying. And for me, it's the speed and the size of them. Because take a guess, how much do you think an adult moose weighs?
I'm going to say a ton.
1,200 pounds, Chris?
Go with 800 pounds.
Actually, I'm going to say it's probably like more like 2.5 because we had that baby moose. Remember that was
huge.
Watching the Celtics finals with you?
Yep.
I feel like we should unpack that story.
I should probably tell that story, yeah.
And that thing was huge. 2 years ago, Celtics are in the finals. They're in the NBA playoffs. Chris is watching it. All of a sudden, we get a text message from his parents who are in the in-law apartment next to our house. And it says, look out the window. So I go out to the living room and I look and there is a giant ass fucking moose, like chilling, looking in our big bay window.
Like 8 feet from the actual window.
Huge. And he's just looking inside the living room. And I'm like, oh my God, like this thing is huge. And I'm looking at it through the glass. And then all of a sudden I have the realization that if this thing wants to come into my house, it's just going to like shatter the glass. It's going to kill us all and destroy my house. And I was like, Chris. And as soon as he like stood up from the couch, it backed away. It got scared and it left.
Tatum was working on a triple-double. Was just hanging out, watching the game with us.
Honestly, that kind of takes the edge off the moose a little bit for me.
It really was like just
it was staring in the window, man.
Yeah, like looking at the TV. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, wow. That is nuts. They can get up to 1,500 pounds and just to the shoulders, 6.5 feet tall.
Damn.
To the shoulder. There's still more to their body. That's their shoulder, which is insane. And I would also say don't let them catch you staring at their huge rack, even if it is up to 6 feet wide, because they are real force tanks. So seriously, gang, don't fuck with moose. Observe them from far away, very fucking far away, and just let them vibe. But this episode today, this isn't about just any moose. This is about the Specter Moose. And witnesses say it's unnatural. They say that it stands somewhere between 10 and 15 feet tall to the shoulder, far bigger than any known moose out there. And their estimated weight, around 2,500 pounds. That's nearly double the size of the largest documented moose specimen on Earth. And its antlers, absolutely massive. Some claim they stretch 12 feet across. And I just want to put that in context. That is 2 6-foot dudes side by side across. And I want to start by sharing some stories about some of the sightings of the Specter Moose. One man, Gilman Brown of West Newbury, Massachusetts, claimed that in 1899 that he actually counted that it had 22 antler points on one side. Now, you probably need some context. The largest moose on record only have 10 antler points on one side. So again, more than double as far as the size goes. But the Specter Moose's attributes, it gets even weirder. Instead of a usual dark brown coat, it's ghostly white. Some say its frost-nipped fur even glows. And when I say white, I don't mean albino. We're talking fairy dust white, like earthreal. But separating even further from your standard albino animal are the eyes. According to most of the accounts, the eyes are brown, not pink or reddish hue that you'd expect from an albino animal. So what we've got here when we put all these descriptions together is one massive brown-eyed forest fucking demon. And what makes it even stranger is despite more than 100 years of sightings, no one's ever killed one, no one's ever caught one, no one's ever successfully tracked it because the second they see it, it vanishes.
Oh, like almost paranormal?
Yeah. So not only is this beast enormous and elusive, potentially paranormal in some way, it sounds made up, right? It does.
Yes.
Like straight up, right? Like the Specter Moose was padding its Tinder profile to impress the ladies. Like it's like height 15 feet, antlers, record-breaking, vibes, absolutely haunted. Like, anyways, now that we were able to talk a little bit about this mystical giant, I want to talk about some of its first actual sightings, and let's walk through the documentation that we actually have on this animal.
Now, there's other animals that are albino. Like I've seen an albino alligator that's all white.
That must look pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. But apparently the other alligators try to kill it because it's different.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
That's sad.
and there's an albino buffalo. When we went to Montana, one was actually born in Yellowstone.
An all-white buffalo?
Yeah.
That's
and
badass.
a lot of times the albino animals, they don't survive. So if this was an albino moose, which is immediately the first thing I'm thinking, for it to have that many antler points, that is representation of like how old it is, right? Like the more points it is, like is the older
I don't
the animal.
know.
I think that's how
Is
it
that
works for deers.
They like shed it and it just goes back bigger.
I think it just grows back bigger because that's how like you can tell like a young buck by like the size of the antlers, whereas that they're small.
Well, we're actually going to get into the albino theory towards the end here too, so that will come in. The earliest sighting occurred in 1891 when a seasoned hunting guide named Clarence Duffy was working out of Old Town, Maine. Duffy claimed to have seen an enormous ghost white moose near Lobster Lake. According to his account, the creature was unlike anything he had ever encountered in the woods. He described it as larger than any bull moose in the territory, with antlers that looked like they could uproot a fucking tree. Now, when Duffy saw this majestical creature, he had his rifle, but he didn't take a shot. He said something about it made him hesitate. Maybe it was he was in awe. Maybe it was fear, right? But whatever it was, he said that the animal moved slow, soundless, through the trees. And whatever it was enough to make an avid hunter completely stop in his tracks and resist the urge to take home a one-of-a-kind trophy.
I mean, I could see that, right? That this is this mystical, one-of-a-kind type creature. And it's like, I could take it home. No, it needs to live.
Yes. Hopefully that's what someone's thinking. But
he has a lot of hope in humanity.
Yeah. But I'm thinking he's just probably standing there stupefied, right? Like you're just kind of frozen, in that moment.
Well, just 3 days later, adding to the lore, a second man, John Ross, a Bangor lumberman, reported seeing the same beast. He claimed he saw the exact same creature while working along the same stretch of forest. What stood out to Ross wasn't just the size, it was the way it moved. He described the moose as unnaturally quiet, just like our first sighting, saying it made no sound despite its massive frame. Ross reportedly froze where he stood, overwhelmed by a wave of dread he couldn't explain. The creature locked eyes with him, just for a second, and then vanished into the trees. No rustling, no tracks, just completely gone.
So you get the sense that these two men were fearful because it was a big moose? Or was something else causing them fear here? Because it sounds like they both had this weird experience of it.
Yeah, it sounds kind of supernatural.
Yeah.
But like to your point of awe, like could it have just been like, it's so majestic and big looking and like I've never seen anything like this in my life. Like I think when we first saw the size of the Rocky Mountains, like I couldn't stop staring at it, right? Like and taking it in. I just wonder is it something like that?
I mean, it could be.
Well, when Ross got back to his fellow lumbermen, he shared his story, and the story spread fast. But maybe more telling is that some say Ross refused to return to that job site he was working on afterwards. Others claim he entirely left the logging industry that year. So that tells me, either way, whatever version of that story is true, there was fear there of running into this beast again. As Ross and Duffy's story spread throughout Maine, newspapers picked it up. A white moose that could vanish without a trace. That was enough for a killer headline and more than enough to spark a legend. But what did Duffy and Rose see? Did they really see some real creature? Because if so, there has to be more sightings. Well, there were. In 1892, about a year after the first sightings by Duffy and Ross, a New York sportsman named Howard Van Ness claimed he encountered the creature near Norcross, Maine. But Van Ness didn't just see the moose. He became the first person to shoot at it. According to the reports published in Maine newspapers, Van Ness had been tracking a large animal when the woods went dead silent. Then, almost as if it materialized out of nowhere, the towering, pale, and utterly silent beast emerged from the trees. Unlike Ross, Van Ness didn't hesitate. He raised his rifles and fired. Once, twice, and then a third time. The moose was so close, too close to miss. I imagine in that moment, Van Ness was already deciding which wall back in New York was going to get the brand new trophy now. But instead of staggering and bleeding and even flinching, the creature just turned and looked at him and locked eyes directly with Van Ness. For a few fleeting moments, which probably felt like a few hours when a beast is staring you in the eyes, he stood frozen. Then the creature charged at him. Van Ness dove behind a fallen tree to brace for impact, probably starting to wonder if he was about to end up mounted on the Specter Moose's wall. But at the last possible second, the moose swerved, vanishing into the thick woods like mist.
Oof. Does he think he missed the moose, or does he think the bullets just didn't affect him at all?
From what I picked up, it sounded like it hit, just did nothing. Like it absorbed the bullet in a way.
I've never been hunting. I don't know many hunters, but admitting that you missed a shot, I think, is a big deal in that community. So I hit him 3 times and he didn't go down.
I got him. Our story's about to get weirder, so don't you worry.
All right.
When Van Ness crept back to where the Specter Moose had stood, there were no tracks, no blood, just broken bush and a smell in the air that he later described as snow and sulfur.
Snow and sulfur?
Yeah.
Oof.
And I think it's interesting that this one guy, he's the one that shot at the moose and the moose charged him, as the other two just stopped what they were doing and it left them alone.
Leave the evil moose alone. That's the moral of the story.
I don't think the moose is evil.
Ooh, we're torn. I like this. Well, Van Ness returned to New York shortly after, and according to legend, he never hunted in Maine again. From there, the accounts just kept stacking up. But every time someone tried to bring the Specter Moose down, it either survived or vanished. Let's talk about some more of these sightings. Tucked away in Maine's old newspapers, field journals, and hunting logs are continued references to something too large, too real, too pale to be natural. In an 1892 letter to the Bangor Wigan Courier, a lumberman described the creature he called the snowhorn, a white beast that just vanished into thin air in moments. Another man named George Nealand was so frightened by a giant white moose in 1900 that he abandoned his bicycle that he was on and climbed up a tree for safety. The moose came over, inspected and investigated his bicycle, and then again vanished off into the forest, never to be seen again. Despite all of these warnings and eerie encounters, the legends continued to stack up. And if anything, they started to grow bolder. And I assume probably because these legends pulled in more hunters, more skeptics, more believers trying to ultimately see this animal. I want to throw a quick aside in. I'm vegan. I think hunting is cruel. But back in the 1800s, I give these people a pass because I think the world was pretty different then, right? People needed to hunt to survive. So if you're a hungry hunter and you spot a moose this big or hear a rumor of a moose this big, you're thinking legacy, headlines. And would you have any guess to how long 2,500 pounds of meat would last a family?
12 years.
No.
I don't know.
That was a little overshot.
How much meat can you eat in a year?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if you're feeding a family of 4 and that's your primary source of your meal, and
So
you're
a pound of
eating
meat a day?
3 meals a day.
Have a moose for every meal?
If you got 1,200 fucking pounds of moose, yeah, you're eating moose probably every day. Yeah, I'd probably say maybe a year, 2 years.
Yeah, it was
max.
about a year. It was a little over a year, that 2,500 pounds based off a family of 4.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. But this isn't just any oversized animal. It's the Specter fucking Moose. And it doesn't even play by our rules because some claim it has supernatural abilities, like the ability to rise from the dead. One of the strangest modern legends come from a hunting party camped near Molluskis Stream. They claim to have shot and killed a giant white moose, strung its body up from a tree to drain its blood, only to find it missing by morning. But it didn't stay missing. That night, the creature returned, its throat still cut, bullet wounds visible, and yet somehow completely alive. The team at the river fired at the animal again, and they claimed to have killed it a second time. But then, as they stood there stunned, rifle still hot, the moose stirred, stood up, and calmly walked off into the forest.
All right, that's something paranormal. That's not normal.
Yeah, I don't believe that story.
Well, it's not done, Kathy. Petrified, the crew didn't dare to try to kill the animal a third time. Now, to your point, and to Chris's point, at this point, I don't know if this is a ghost moose, if it made a deal with the devil, if this is Jesus' pet, or if it drinks from the fountain of youth, but things are about to take a fucking weirder turn because on that same fucking day, apparently, right after the Specter Moose stumbled into the fucking woods, after being killed twice, Bert Beggings of Ashland, Maine, in the same woods, but not with the Molluskis Stream party, claimed to see a giant creature walking around with its throat still cut open.
Oof.
Scared, Pagans grabbed his rifle and shot at the moose, but the gunfire had no effect. After his fight response failing, flight took over. Pagans dropped his rifle and ran into his home. From inside, he peered out the windows where he watched the moose pick up his rifle with his teeth, fire it off several times, and then walk away into the woods.
Oh my God.
I love this story.
I love it too. It's so good. It's so good.
How much did the man have to drink that day?
Oh my God.
Oh.
A lot. Chris, a lot. But 2 separate parties claiming one to kill the moose multiple times, slice his throat. A completely different person saying, yeah, I saw this. It had a slit throat. Okay, you're losing me with it, picking up the gun and shooting with its teeth. But I don't know. It's a little credibility when you got people in different areas seeing something.
Like an animal picking up a shotgun, right? I mean, like grabs it and it's like one of those like
pump it,
like maybe.
Like,
but then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, how's it doing? Like,
how does it get its trigger? It's a tongue.
like I was trying, thinking like that maybe, but no, none of that's working.
Story aside, you had a bunch of people claiming to see this very strange moose.
Yeah,
like, that part was interesting.
Did anybody in the party take a picture of this very strange moose that no one's ever seen before?
The 1800s, you needed like 25 minutes to set up a camera.
Phones,
yeah,
you know.
They had cameras.
They had cameras, but it took like 5 minutes to set one up.
Yeah, but the moose would be hanging from the tree.
You need like gunpowder.
I also wonder, though, was it black and white photos? Like, what did it look like? If it's
but if
white,
it was black and white, it would still be white.
Yeah, these are good points. No, there are no photos. Okay?
No photos.
No photos.
Okay.
Stop it.
But as weird as these stories are, and admittedly, they're fucking strange, there are more. The sightings just continue to pile up, and the sightings start to create a case for some other strange attributes for the Specter Moose. Because our next sighting came in allegedly the beast had been seen standing directly in front of a restaurant, and then hours later, the restaurant burned to the ground. This led some to start theorizing that the Specter Moose is some kind of harbinger or bad omen of something is going to ultimately be coming. Personally, it just led me to think that maybe the Specter Moose likes to play with fire. But
I mean, it's shooting guns.
Yeah.
It can light a match.
He sounds like a good time. Right? But jokes aside, some native traditions hold white animals in extremely high regard.
Yes. Yep.
In fact, the Wabanaki believe white animals are sacred. In fact, I want to share a quote from a Wabanaki elder with you. His name was Tama Joseph, and this was recorded in the early 1900s. And he said, "A white animal is not just a sign. It is a voice. It speaks for the spirits, and we must listen to it." So it sounds as though the Wabanaki in some ways see these animals as spiritual messengers, some type of link between the physical world and the spirit world. For the Wabanaki, a white moose in particular is believed to be a sign of the spirit realm and specifically a warning or a blessing depending on the context. In a 1987 interview preserved in the Wabanaki Center's Cultural Archives, a Penobscot storyteller recounted how when the great white moose comes, something is about to change. It is not to be hunted. It chooses when it wants to be seen. And it was also said that killing one was said to bring sickness and tragedy among those who killed it. And maybe that's why it always just disappears. Maybe it's not meant to be seen. Maybe it chooses who it encounters and when. Maybe it's not walking on our kind of ground if it is some type of divine spiritual animal.
It's interesting because I could see there being an albino moose, like a one-off, and a couple of people seeing it and the legend growing.
Yeah.
But now you're adding this whole Native American spiritual twist to it. And I did have a Native American medicine man once call me the Great White Moose.
Is this real?
No.
Oh.
No,
wait, what? Well, I just wanted to know the cool story that was going to go with that.
That was it.
To round this out with a little modern skepticism, I found a 2019 interview with Maine wildlife biologist Dr. Sheila Corbett, and she said that there are white moose. They do in fact exist. They are extremely rare, but they are absolutely not supernatural. What people see out there is usually a big animal that might be white in bad light and a little bit of wild imagination. So that's what she said. And then there's always the most likely explanation. Tall tales, media hype, isolation, a little too much whiskey, a combination of all the above. So where does this leave us with this story? Well, believe it or not, people still claim to see the Specter Moose today on hunting forums and local Facebook groups, especially in the dead of winter. Some say it's not just real, it's something that is refusing to die because the Specter Moose, in my opinion, isn't just a cryptid. It might be a mirror, a reflection of wilderness itself. Massive, unknowable, maybe a little haunted. So if you ever find yourself deep in the woods of Maine and hear a rumble behind you, don't assume it's thunder. Play it smart. get the fuck out of there. Because if you do see a moose, especially a giant snow white antlered moose with Tinder-worthy stats, don't fuck with the moose because some things fuck back. And that's my story on the Specter Moose.
I love the Specter Moose story.
It's wild. I don't know if it's cryptid, if it is just an albino moose that people are dolling up some fancy stories with it because a white moose would be real. And what would make a white moose cooler? Giving it some a huge rack and making it bulletproof.
Yeah.
But
just seeing a white moose would be cool enough. Forget the fact that supersize the thing and make it supernatural.
Right. We might have talked about this in the pod before. I'm not sure. But I've lived in New England my entire life. Do you know how many moose I've seen in New England?
How many?
0. Really?
Yeah. Do you know how many moose I've seen in Alaska? I was there for 12 hours. I saw 4 of them. So yeah. So I've seen 0 in New England. So I just say that's put in context that there's a lot here, but it's still rare to run into one.
I've seen 2.
2?
One watched the Celtics game with me.
Yeah. Sick.
The other time we were driving and we saw it off in a field
It had
300 yards away. It was way off in the distance.
Yeah, and it had a baby with it.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. That's why they say, though, when you see those signs on the road, when you're up in mountainous areas where moose live, that's probably why moose kill more people than bears because of car accidents.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Because if you hit a moose, it will total your car.
I feel like hitting a bear will fuck your car up too pretty good, right?
But a moose, like you said,
taller, yeah.
Well, yeah, and they're solid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
On 101, right before you get into Manchester, there's a moose crossing sign. There ain't no moose there. Come on. I've never seen a moose. I've done 101 a lot.
There has to have been sightings of moose for them. I know.
You think so?
They don't just put the sign up.
I think they put it up for the people from Massachusetts to be like, oh, we could see moose. Honey, this is exciting. Let's go.
No.
And they're up in downtown Manchester.
I don't think that's how street signs work.
Chris, in our Pigman episode, they saw a Bigfoot in fucking Detroit, Michigan. So if they can see Bigfoot in Detroit, we got moose here in Manchester.
The Manchester Moose.
Manchester Moose. Well, Chris, Kathy, I hope you enjoyed the story of the Specter Moose. And gang, I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, feel free to go ahead and check out our Instagram at Waiter After Dark, where I'll post some follow-up and supporting evidence and images for this story here today. And don't forget, it's not just Instagram where we're building communities. You can also find us over on Reddit and on Facebook, again at Waiter After Dark. And that will give you the opportunity to connect not just with me, Chris, and Kathy, but for other listeners and other members of our gang, just like you who are loving this shit. And speaking of loving this shit, if you're loving this shit and you want more of this shit, the best thing that you can do to help us continue moving forward and putting out some great fucking rock star episodes about fucking legendary moose, wherever you're listening to this, whether it is Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead, drop a 5-star review, drop a little comment on that. We'd appreciate that forever. And know we're always on the hunt for your stories. Have you seen the Specter Moose? Have you shot it, killed it, it came back to life, killed it again, it came back to life, and then it got your neighbor? And so we want to hear those stories. So go ahead and you can send your weird New England stories to us, and you can send that to TheGang at weirderafterdark.com. And if you do, we'll share one of your stories in an upcoming Listener Tales episode. And remember, it always gets a little weirder after dark.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Specter Moose, Specter Moose, does whatever a Specter Moose does.